So, Chris,
Dave.
Equalizer 2. I'm going to just start by saying, besides being bored to hell, I've said this before. Sometimes you know who the bad guy is, solely because they hired a bigger name actor, okay?
Oh, I predicted this by the preview.
Well, you predicted it by the preview. Now, I will say this for the movie. So we're getting in there, and again, premise, I don't even know the whole truthful plot of the movie because I thought it was a little disjointed. But Pedro Pascal, he is in the elevator with the woman who was about to die. Okay? This is my big thing. I thought about this the whole ride home. So she's like, oh yeah, I need some Swiss chocolate or something or other. And so she steps out and he goes, well, it looks like I'm going out again. And she had left the elevator at that point. And now I thought like you did, was like, well, he's gonna be the bad guy because they hired him to do it, and he makes a good bad guy. Okay,
yeah.
I thought he was a bad guy. Oh, and it's gonna be generic. Oh, he's the friend, or he works for the FBI. He's gonna be on the inside. The whole thing. And when he said the line, I was like, oh. Maybe you're not the bad guy, because you kind of said, oh, I better go out and impress her. And then she dies. And I thought for a minute, like, okay, well, he's not, because he said that line. And then turns out he is.
I wasn't fooled.
You were not fooled.
No.
I
knew they were going to do it the whole time.
It actually fooled me. And then I was like, but then here's my thing. Now it's a plot hole. They put it on the movie on purpose, so you would be like led astray.
Of course they did.
But
a lot of these movies
at the same time, if he knew she was going to die right then and there, why would he say the line in the first place? It makes no sense. It's completely out of character because we're the audience. I don't like that crap. Like no, that's cheap writing. No, get out of here with that crap. I thought it was terrible. There's easier ways to make... One, he should never have been the bad guy. Why do we keep having to have the friend or the old army buddy turns out to be the bad guy? I had no idea. Why? You stop doing it. No one's surprised at this point.
It's probably a little bit of Hollywood doesn't know how to write anything original.
Well, no, they don't.
Probably. But moving on from that, we did forget to add the 2.
We did.
To our Equalizer.
We're not reviewing the first. It's okay. People get it.
But, real quick, the end. I thought the whole storm thing, they go to the island and there's a storm.
A hurricane.
Or whatever.
Well,
did they mention that in the beginning? I missed it.
It was like through the whole thing. They're like, hurricane. I don't think they even named it.
I guess
coming up the coast.
I don't know how I missed that then. I just feel like all of a sudden there was no problem with this hurricane anywhere. There was like a little bit of rain maybe when he was driving at one point. And then they show up at the island.
And there's a hurricane. They mentioned it like on the radio real quick.
Why would he go up on top of the tower? If it's hurricane, can you actually see up there?
No, you wouldn't be able to see 10 feet in front of you. Like all the wind coming off the ocean like that.
I just thought that was kind of odd that he was supposed to be like an equal to Denzel, and he goes up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were some odd things at the end.
There was a lot of odd things. And the whole storyline with the old guy who was looking for his sister, should not have been in the movie, and I know why they did it. And that was my whole thing in the review. Like, hey, this is for old people.
Why did they do it, Dave?
Because they wanted to have an emotional moment for the older generation to be like, oh, that's a sweet thought.
Word from Mom.
It worked beautifully. And I'm fine with them having it in there if it kind of catered to the story a little bit. It didn't. And then on the other side, I'm like, wait a minute. So are you finding the picture, or are you trying to find your sister? What I'm confused about which one you're looking for. I sold it for $12 million. Like, right, but are you looking for her or the portrait she made? But it's not that hard to find people per se. What are you looking for exactly?
At first, I thought they were going to go based on they were playing the story up where he's this guy helping out the smaller smaller people as far as. The old man who doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, the kid that lives in his apartment complex.
Okay, like you're there to help out, and that was fine. But then there was like the greater story to it all.
Oh, and the lady at the bookstore, which is why he did it in the first place.
That was the opening scene as far as
when he's on the train as the
little girl
pretending to be a Muslim.
They could have had a movie of just him going and helping people out, like a small-time story like that, and I would have been a lot better, I think. That's kind of what he's supposed to be.
Right, and I dug those parts, and then it's like, oh, I actually messed around with the wrong guy here. And he turns out the first one was. I'm fine with him keeping the same thing. We don't need to have an ex-military buddy. All of a sudden, I gotta cut you out of it. Like, you don't need that.
In so many movies.
Exactly. Keep it with the theme that you had, which you're kind of like a local vigilante. It was cool.
Yeah.
I liked it, but this one went completely off and tried to do both. Oh, let's do higher stakes, but also he's helping out. But the problem is that you don't care about any of those. You don't care about the local people, and you don't care about the quote higher stakes. So it just turns out to be bleh all around.
There were parts that I think the first half was better.
I'll agree. Yeah, I mean, I was bored through the whole thing, but I was first.
I mean, I wasn't nearly as bored as you.
I
thought
I
it
had
was
my
slow,
head down,
but there were parts that were intriguing to me. But overall, it didn't pay off one bit.
No,
none
of them. And it's a shame. And so he sets his car on fire, right? Because there was blood and whatever in it, right? He's a Lyft driver, and then like 2 scenes later, he's driving another car. Where did I miss when he went out? Is it a rental or? I'm pretty sure it was the same car too. What was that all about? Man, I'm like, dude, you just took a loss. You took your car down, and now you'd have. And then when the guy tries to kill him in the car, all of a sudden it jumps right to that. Like it's just he's here and he's in the back seat and he's ready to kill him. Like you didn't build that scene up at all. There was no like you knew the guy was going to kill him as soon as he got in there. It was not well done storytelling.
Yeah. And I feel like when you go to see these, we're just going to call it a genre of movies because
they are old guy beat 'em ups.
Yeah, it's old guy revenge vigilantes flicks. When you go to see these movies, like I think with in Taken, with Liam Neeson, you see a lot of the action. You see him punching guys in the throat.
Right.
And in the first Equalizer, there was way more of that as far as when he stops his watch. There was kind of like that methodical way where he beats these guys down. And this, I feel like they didn't have it. Mm-hmm. And they needed more scenes, not chopped together where you couldn't tell what was going on. No, There's a scene in the end where he takes knives and he's doing this weird stabbing thing.
Right, I would love to see it and not just close up
because of the storm going on and everything
50
else.
different shots to show he killed the guy. Like,
no, you didn't know what was going on. And if you go to see these movies for the violence and
you'll be sorely disappointed.
Denzel, that's what you want to see. He couldn't really tell what was going on. I like the way Denzel delivers his lines to people because he's about to beat the crap out of somebody.
Yeah, that was fine.
But then the payoff of going to see the movie and nothing happens. Like you can't tell what's going on.
Yeah, and in the one scene where like he goes into his headspace, and this scene really bothered me a minute. It shows you how sloppily it was done. So in the beginning scene, we see the French guy come in, and then his wife gets assassinated, and then they have to put the gun in his mouth, and they shoot him. I thought, okay, not a bad scene. All right, I'm building suspense. Now I'm intrigued. Let's move on. And then he goes, he's looking over the pictures, and all of a sudden he's in the headspace of this place, even though it's on the other side of the world in Brussels. And he's looking around, and he sees the gun. I mean, even though from pictures he's able to do that, whatever. And I'm going, we already know it's an assassination. Okay, I understand that he doesn't know that. But we as the audience already know this. I know all this information. This is boring. Oh no, I'm figuring out that it was a hit after all. Like, it didn't need that scene. All he has to do is look at it and go, huh. And then goes right up to the dude and goes, oh, by the way, left hand, right hand. And we don't need this whole thing of how Denzel was able to get in this headspace.
I don't know.
That was silly to me. Like, and it took forever.
It did take a while. It was more of to show that he is like an incredible detective.
Why does he need to be a detective? I thought he was just an assassin, like a military awesome dude who goes out and just
expanded on his background.
Well, you see the military uniform in this picture, so you know he was in that, but you don't know what he did.
It didn't bother me him figuring out, going, all right, boom, 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 boom.
I thought it was boring. It just showed you how sloppily I think it was made. Look, if it's one thing if they didn't have the scene in the first place with the French guy, and all you knew is like, hey, these people were dead, and come to find out he was an informant. It looks like he may have killed his wife. And then he's sitting there in the headspace and goes, wait a minute, no, it was a setup. And then that whole scene plays out. Like, oh crap, that's what happened. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, that's the same guy. Oh, okay, now I get it. But no, sloppily done. I just was not entertained.
You're telling me you're going to take a movie where you have Bill Pullman, and you're not going to use him.
No. And yet again, no epic speech.
That's true.
What the man does best, and yet again, he just sat around, barely opening his eyes. If you watch the movie, he just does this the whole time.
I don't understand why he was even... There were scenes where he was in the movie where they go back to his apartment. He grabs him. They're in the car the next scene.
Yeah!
And then he's never in the movie again. I thought they were going to use him.
He threw him in a hotel. It's like,
cool.
here, just stay here, man.
No,
just, watch HBO. Have fun. Like,
the thing is,
I wanted a gunfight in there, man.
We don't have to worry about Paxton being in any movies anymore. He's dead. So we don't have to play Pullman or Paxton anymore. You put Pullman in a movie, utilize him.
Thank you.
You know what? Why not?
Why not? But he was not utilized. Well,
if I were to tell you that he will always be the king of New York, do you know what that means?
No.
Okay. I'll just leave it as that.
No, I'm sorry. I'm ignorant on that one.
No, it's not nerdy. It's musical.
Oh. Well, excuse me.
Newsies.
Oh.
That had Batman in it from the 90s, I believe.
I never saw the news. I know of it, but I never saw. I did not subject myself
Christian
to
Bale sings in it.
Ooh.
And Bill Pullman yells, "I'm the king of New York."
Now we're getting on a whole different topic. Never thought you'd talk about the Newsies and doing a review.
It's true. He does.
So, yeah, I can't really say much more about this.
No. There's not much to say about it.
I will say this. Again, it comes to the storytelling and plot holes. So his Pedro Pascal's whole thing was, I was in the military, and then I became a mercenary because I got kicked out, or not kicked out, but I got discharged because all the fighting was over. And he's telling me this whole thing, and I'm going, dude, you work for the FBI or the State Department or whatever. Like, you got your own office. Like, wait a minute. You're complaining that you can't provide or can't do something. Like, you got a suit and tie on, brother. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was kind of
I thought that was dumb. Like,
I didn't understand the full motive behind the story.
Like, we get a list.
Why they killed
Who do you get a list from?
Why they killed these people and this. It really got lost.
Nowhere was it like, oh, we're tying up loose ends. Okay, someone gave us a list. Right, but did you make this list? Did someone else? Why did she need to die? What was the whole... They never expanded on it. And if they did, they didn't do it well enough because I didn't pick up on it. I'm not that attentive of a person, but come on, movie, you can do a better job. It just was... It was lame. I'd expected more from Denzel because I like all of his movies. And this was my least favorite of his movies by far. I can't think of another one that he's been in that's bad. Deja Vu wasn't that great, but it was okay.
I don't know.
Flight was awesome. I love The Book of Eli. First Equalizer. Training. I mean, come on, keep going down. American Gangster. They're all great, but this one just it never. I mean,
you left out Glory.
Oh well, Glory is another amazing one. I can go down the whole list. I don't have IMDb in front of me. Come on, give me some slack.
It's in here. I could probably name off every one of them.
I would challenge you to, but I unless you have anything else, but no, don't go see this movie. It was boring, and what else are you gonna do? Denzel, I'm saying step up your game because it was one. I'll allow
Denzel was fine.
It's fine, but
Denzel was fine.
Pick your movies a little better because this one you're better than this, man.
This is his first sequel. Calm down.
It is, isn't it?
It is his first.
All right. Well,
he was fine in it.
He was, but
he was fine.
As an actor, you can look at stuff and go, "Well, this ain't gonna work." Like, well, where's the fighting? Yeah.
Tell that to Mark Hamill.